In the end, as great students ourselves, we can attest to the fact that more than likely a scholarship is not going to fund or it's not going to fully fund your education. To fill in that gap, we suggest you consider loans. Now, you will receive some federal loans after filling out the FAFSA, but this still may not be enough. You have to seek out some private loans. Is it worth it? Well, some people have different opinions about it, and I want to ask Asia to share her opinion about taking on debt for college.
Sure thing. So one thing that we've not really touched on in this call is just in general, the rising cost of college. Certainly, depending on the institution that you go to, the fees and the actual tuition and the room and board and all those things can vary. But I mean, it's upwards $20,000, $40,000 a year. And if you're, eyeing a 4-year degree, you can do the multiplication and determine that that's quite a lot of money. And as Janae said, scholarships, may not cover that all, as well as, other financial aid things that you get from your FAFSA. So you will likely have to reach a point where you need to decide whether you're going to sign that promissory note or not to fund your education. And I definitely had to make that decision, and it was difficult and expensive, but I did it because it was an investment in myself and my future, and I don't regret that. But I will say that it's important to continue to do your assessment, your self-assessment and your sort of career trajectory assessment, and know what sort of field you're getting into. If you are trying to get a degree in advanced basket weaving and the starting pay for basket weavers is, $15,000, and you just signed a promissory note for $20,000 in student loans, that's going to be a problem. So you definitely want to make sure that you're entering a field that is going to pay off, and you'll be able to pay those loans back if you do, decide to take them on. And so that's pretty much been my philosophy about it, and it served me well. I definitely have student loans and will have some student loan payments for some time, but as I said, I felt like it was an investment in my future, and I definitely know that my earning potential will at some point exceed the amount of loans that I took out. But I'll also add this. I think a lot of young people, if they decide to defer college, they still have to make a living, and they still oftentimes end up taking on debt, whether it's through a car loan, car payment, or sort of other living expenses. And so you're going to take on debt, and you might as well, if you're going to do that, you might as well take on debt that's going to actually pay off later and really be an investment and where you'll have a return on your investment. And I think that's certainly the case with educational loans versus, credit card debt and other things that we can get into. So definitely take all of that into account as you're making a decision to sign up for a loan.
Thank you very much, Asia. And you bring up a good point. Different people have different opinions about taking on debt. Me, I guess I was a little bit too free, and have been, I guess, all of my life a little bit too free on taking on debt. But I think I made smart decisions about the debt that I did take on. And with that, I want to bring up some considerations that you should look at when you're taking on debt. First of all, when you sign up for a loan, you should not have to repay your loan until 6 months after you graduate. I know some people have signed up for loans where they have to pay it, or their parents have to pay it while they're in school. There are other options where you do not have to do this. So look for other options before you really don't sign up for loans that you have to pay for while you're in school. Parents, you do not have to take out a loan in your name. When you take out a loan, you should be a co-signer for your student only. And just to piggyback off that, I want to say that the best present my mother ever gave me in life was her good credit. Because my mother had good credit, I was able to qualify for a lot of loans. This is not the case all of the time. So sometimes you really just have to partner with or find other resources or other people to help you apply for these loans, because your parents' credit is going to be a big factor on whether you qualify or not. And lastly, you should find loans where you can get a low and fixed interest rate. Some of these private companies are really just trying to make, well, that's their business. They're trying to make money. So you have to make sure, just like you would for a home or a car, that they're going to give you a low fixed interest rate because, again, this is a business for them, and they'll try to get as much money as they can. I would suggest visiting SallieMae.com. I just recently used them for a relative, and I know they have some great rates and terms with a pretty straightforward and quick application process. And they're a pretty trusted name in the loan industry versus some other private lenders that we may not have heard from. Here are also some other things to consider on the positive side, is that most creditors will see your education loan as good debt. I mean, they won't necessarily not consider it when you're trying to buy a home or a car, but it's not bad debt to have on your credit versus having thousands and thousands of dollars in car debt. Also, another thing to consider is that there are programs out there like AmeriCorps that can reduce your loan amounts. As a matter of fact, as a member of the Teach for America program, I was given $10,000 towards paying off my student loan. So that's definitely an option that you can think about, but this only works for people who are considering going into the social sector. So